Hi, I'm Eric Moline from SceneStealers.com, and we just watched Sucker Punch, the new Zack Snyder movie about 5 girls who kick a lot of ass, and I've got 5 guys right here, and we're going to talk about the movie. Let me introduce everybody really quick. This is Michael Bird, Scene Stealers contributor, Lawrence.com editor Trevin McGee, as you know, Dad's Big Plan and Scene Stealers contributors Aaron Weber and Alan Rapp. So guys, Zack Snyder follows up Watchmen, a movie that had a lot of promise and had a great source material, and he's doing an original. It's his first original screenplay.
It's an original.
It's a true
so original.
Tell me about the originality of this movie.
Well, it's fantastically original. You know, it's like he showed us this world where you could like put a disc in a console and press buttons and do things.
Yeah.
And
no, that's a video game.
That's what we're talking about.
Like
It's like
this world where these girls dress in these just crazy sexy outfits and they fight giant robots and like samurais.
No, that's anime. That's anime.
Oh, okay.
It's anime. So,
okay. It's like this thing where they're in this bordello, right? And they do these like reworked versions of modern pop songs.
No, that's Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Okay,
no,
so
they're in a mental hospital, and they're trying to, and like they bond together over their idiosyncrasies and their mental illness, and they kind of grow as people.
No,
That's Girl Interrupted.
Girl Interrupted. All right, so basically, I think everybody's come to the consensus that this is a mishmash of all kinds of stuff just thrown together. I have to say, before we get into the really negative stuff, which I think is anything concerned with the theme of this film, which is completely bogus, I was dazzled by some of the sequences in this film. I think Snyder has a mastery of camera motion and things like that. He's really putting some things together.
The scene on the train,
a bit of an emotional impact.
Yeah.
Just a bit of an emotional impact. It doesn't add up to anything, I don't think, though.
It's the difference between great graphic design and great fine art.
Yes.
Great graphic design doesn't have a responsibility to mean anything.
Right.
Great fine art, you kind of want it to, a little bit.
you know, I said it in Watchmen, which is where it's like he understood what the pictures were supposed to mean, or what they were supposed to convey, but he had no idea what they were actually supposed to mean. And that just pours through every frame.
Well, he even stepped out of his comfort zone in this. I mean, there was at least I noticed less tangible slow-mo than in his previous works.
Oh, but it's there.
It's there. It's there.
It's there.
It's his calling card, but there was some creativity in terms of shots and sort of, like I mentioned the train sequence earlier, the way they spun the camera around. I mean, it was entirely in a digital environment, so they were able to do so. But it was still done in a very interesting way. I hadn't really seen something put together like that.
Well, so right away the movie puts our main character in a mental hospital, and she starts fantasizing about what life might be like if she's not there, in a very Mulholland Drive kind of way, which I won't give away, but I figured it out right away. I was like, oh, okay, Mulholland Drive. Anyway, the first thing in this movie is a music video, and that sets the pace for about 6 or 7 more music videos to happen. What are we saying about the music? What are we saying about the montage in this movie? Is it at the expense of storytelling, or what?
Well, it's a cheap shortcut.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like he couldn't figure out how to say it, so well, I'm just going to show it in a music video. But instead of actually giving us a narrative or characters to care about, I'm just going to throw these slow motion, grayed out, washed out
and
tones.
some painfully over music choices in the process. I mean, opening with "Sweet Dreams Are Made of This," and then "White Rabbit," you know, another one. I mean,
I liked White Rabbit. I thought that was clever. I thought they used that really well, and it came up.
So
I was like, oh,
okay, so let's
and everything.
Let's step back from style. Now let's talk about the actual.
Yeah, we should. At one point, we should talk about the theme, because there's a lot of stylistic choices in these movies that are either going to take you one way or the other, and you're going to say, oh, I really like this style, or I didn't. But let's not just say too much style over substance, right? That's just too generic of a criticism. Let's talk about this.
There's no substance to talk about.
There is no substance.
This is Zack Snyder's masturbatory fantasy. You know, at least Peter Jackson had a giant ape in his. But here all we get is a dragon for a couple minutes, and then girls in tiny outfits. And
so what do you say about
that? I'd go home and play Warcraft.
What do you say about this kind of fetishization in Japan? Then is that all masturbatory fantasy as well?
Yes,
most of it.
Yeah. Here's what bothers me. I mean, it sets back feminism like 50 years. Yeah. But what bothers me the most about this is just it's so ham-fisted. It's so like
The choice is with you.
it's like Mountain Dew's version of girl power.
The choice is with you.
Mountain
It's
Dew's-
all you.
Oh.
So if the choice is with
You
you,
said it was a Mountain Dew version
then
of girl power. That's like
why?
it's a co-opted commercial version of a slogan. for
Let
a
me put this as bluntly as possible. If this turns out to be my daughter's like childhood's version of Fight Club, we are in such trouble.
You've got to get her a stripper.
I know.
That's the only alternative.
Now, I can't condemn the sexuality of the girls out of hand and say that that's anti-feminism. I think girls can own sexuality, and I think it's fine if they do. The problem is they set that up, but at the same time completely undermine it by making terrible choices
absolutely.
for the women.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest issue.
Yeah.
They constantly talk about how they're in control, but really, I mean, even in her fantasy land, she lives under the boot heel. All of them live under the boot heel of this man, and as soon as he gets wise to what they're doing, he just exerts power over them instantly. I mean, there's no empowerment there. There's no freedom there.
And they're handed everything
supposed
by
to be-
another older father figure.
Yeah. And that's supposed to be the entire message, is that you have the power. It's all about you, and really, that's never on display in the movie ever.
It sets it up to say you can be empowered, but 80% roughly out of you will probably not succeed.
Yeah.
even though
And
the
when you
only
do
thing
succeed,
holding
it'll
you
be
back
because
is
someone
you.
else helped you. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like if Ayn Rand wrote Coyote Ugly. So that's what we got here, folks.
And I would like to point out at this point, Zack Snyder is doing Superman, the new Superman, the Man of Steel, and he says it's against every tendency in his body to try to make this movie realistic, and that is his goal. So all I can say is I'm glad that you've got the last 3 or 4 movies out of your system, and I look forward to you trying something new. This was Zack Snyder's worst tendencies taken too far, and it's a rock fist way down for me. Alan?
Way down.
This is an argument for never letting a director self-finance, write, and produce their own film. Way down.
I likened it earlier to like really shitty trail mix. It's just like you pick out the morsels that you really like, because there are a few tiny morsels, and the rest of it you're just like, I don't want anything.
There's 3 M&Ms in this bag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's 3 M&Ms in there. I don't want anything else.
The dragon was cool.
And so yeah, Rocksteady's way down for me too. It insults your intelligence from beginning to end, and I can't say enough about it.
I'm almost unable to make a rock fist.
Sand fist.
Rock fist down and limp.
Down and out. A flaccid tuck this down. I like that one.
Yeah, sexual connotations.
And you know what? I just for the record, please stop asking me to do Zack Snyder reviews. For the love of all that is holy,
We had
please
fun
stop.
to watch it, didn't we? What I want to know is why did 5 dudes turn up for this review when I really only needed 1 or 2? Maybe that says something about the market for the film as well.
Well,
Good for us.